You've
Oh, God.
You know it, too. You know it. Who's your quarterback? Fucking you got
This is our year.
Look at those dudes. Look at those dudes. Look at those dudes. Look at those dudes. Let's go! Let's go! Cowboys! Let's go, baby! Cowboys Nation showing up!
Most pristine athletes in modern history playing in the NFL. Even the offensive linemen are incredibly athletic. I mean, these guys are over 300 pounds, and you know they can
not only the size, but the speed of the linemen. Are you kidding me?
fly on the field.
You're telling me a guy that's 330 pounds meant to block a guy that's 290 pounds is faster than me? A sporty 240?
High 240. High 240. High 240.
I could beat any one of those guys right now, and I've drank a six-pack.
What? You're wearing Crocs!
My 40 time is better than any of them.
Erroneous! Erroneous!
Erroneous!
Erroneous on all accounts!
I've never been more sure of anything in my life.
How'd I do?
13-5.
Final quarter, here we go, baby!
CD for the CD!
And I'm going for 2.
Woo!
I don't know why my safety was just playing off so far.
Tackle him!
Yeah, well, I might be a boomer, but you sound like a pipsqueak. You don't even know how old I am.
No!
You little shit. You didn't win the game, I lost it!
Make sure you know where he is, because he understands how to
Call
get
that a
open
throw?
in key situations.
I might be old, but at least I don't still piss my pants.
Protect you and your loved ones with Crackem VPN.
Ever heard the game Marry, Kill? Okay, like, yeah, I'm gonna give you 3 people, and you're gonna decide who will you marry, who will you who will you kill?
Okay.
Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott, and Tony Romo.
Marry Jerry. He's got all the monies. Probably Tony. Dak Prescott. Gotta kill him.
I'm gonna Romo.
She's gonna with Romo.
I'm gonna marry Dak.
She's gonna marry Dak.
I'm gonna kill Jones.
She's gonna kill Jerry Jones. Who will you marry, kill between Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott, and then Tony Romo? I'm out.
Jerry Jones, you.
So Jerry.
Jerry Jones, you.
Okay.
You.
Who will you marry, Dak Prescott or Tony Romo? Tony Romo.
Tony Romo.
So that means you would kill Dak?
Yes.
Marry Dak. Kill Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones, poor Jerry.
Tony Romo.
Why not? He's probably one of the best commentators, announcers on the game right now.
Tony Romo? That's mine. That's mine.
Jerry Jones, right now. Right now.
You heard it here, guys. You heard it.
We need trash can.
Oh, here we go.
AJ, you have to sleep in this for the night.
Yep.
Football we already got. AJ's trying to take a piss right now. Trash can.
Stickers.
Stickers.
Couple stickies.
Couple stickies.
Yes. So we got a trash can. We're gonna go test it out in the toy aisle.
You're not getting it first. First try. He's not getting it. Give these guys a shot. They'll win a jersey if they get it. Oh, none of us made it. Come on, Dad. You get a free Cowboys jersey if you get it. None of us have made it. Dad's going for a shot. Come on, let's get it. That was the closest one.
Felt like the closest.
Gross.
Yeah. We all missed it, so don't worry about it. We missed it. You guys going to the game tomorrow? Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Cool.
Us too.
Not only are we giving away 3 jerseys for whoever can toss a football into that can, we're also going to be leaving the can so someone can take that home too.
Look, there's still crappy teams always right set.
Nope. Okay, well, let's just go. Let's just go.
Yeah, baby! That's how we do it. I don't know, man. Clicked the wrong screen, I guess.
I don't
man.
know. Look, you know what?
Adam has a million of them.
We gotta tidy that.
I'm that guy. I go straight to blame. I don't take any accountability. I go straight to blame. Just kidding.
I know
Welcome to the
someone like you. I know someone like you.
I'm not gonna name names.
I'm not gonna name names.
Well, we figured it out anyways. Welcome to the Cowboys Can Fan Show. And as you can see, it is just Bandwagon Boy 2 and myself. But we brought some damn backup tonight, baby. We brought some damn backup tonight. Look at these guys.
Oh,
We got 2 of the 3.
2 of the 3 here. We're hanging out with Big Chris from the Cowboys Up podcast. That's at Cowboys Up podcast. Welcome, Big Chris. Then we also got EJ Savage from Boys in the Zone, and Bot G Eric, a Can Fan fam original, Can Fan Mafia, Can Fan Maniac, however you want to put it. But at Bot G Eric or underscore Eric.
Here, there he is.
There we go. We got him. See, you can do things. You can do it on the fly.
Get it on the fly, baby.
And also, who will be joining us shortly? What is it? The Joker?
The villain.
The villain, not the Joker. He's
You can't
Batman.
call him the Joker. If you saw Joker,
Joker 2 was
You could
terrible.
never call
I'm
anyone
sorry.
the Joker anymore.
But Barry Grant Jr. from the All Even podcast will be joining us. Gentlemen, thank you so much for giving us your time this evening. And you know what? I called this a round table, or we called this a round table, I should say. Well, I say I did it in case you hate the name. If you love the name, we did. But really, this could turn out to be a therapy session for us.
Yeah.
So let's just,
Just if it's therapy, don't act like Jerry Jones during
No,
therapy.
no,
guys,
no,
okay?
no,
There's
no.
gonna be some stuff going down, and actually, that's probably a good way to lead into.
let's just go into
Let's
it. It's
just
the
go-
hottest news on the market right now.
Guys, I don't know who wants to start. Who's got the biggest take? We all heard about it. It was all over Cowboys news yesterday. Jerry Jones going off on 105.3 The Fan. What were your guys' thoughts about that?
I mean, if I can just start off, I think that it's telling at where we're at with him as the owner, with him as the GM, that he can't even accept criticism that is warranted right now. For him to go so crazy on the host of that show, 105.3 The Fan, just asking basic questions and questions that were a lot of fans want to know about. For him to go off on that just seemed so Palpatine. If I can use a Star Wars reference, dude, just get off your high horse.
Yeah.
Understand that we want to see this team succeed just as much as you, if not more, and we have no skin in the game like you. I don't understand it from the outsider perspective. I think that every question they asked was warranted. Every question that they asked should have been answered honestly. But he's a billionaire, so he probably thinks that he can do whatever he wants, say whatever he wants, call for people's jobs if he wants. It really doesn't matter to him. I just think it's crazy.
Well, man, for a long time, I didn't listen to 105.3 The Fan because they always kiss Jerry's ass. Okay, I didn't listen to it. People like, Chris, you from Dallas, you don't listen to The Fan? I'm like, no, I listen to The Ticket because it was the original sports radio, and they wouldn't tolerate the crap from Jerry. That's why Jerry moved on to 105.3 The Fan. So when the host actually asked him a legitimate question that all the fans, all those content creators basically have been talking about for the last 6 months about the personnel on the team and and basically how we gonna get the team better. And out of his damn mouth, he says that he's all in. And then when they question you about, you know, your roster and your performance of your roster, you want to turn around and tell him, won't you say things when I was doing good, or weren't you praising me first? You always want to go back to the negative. Well, the reason why you're going back to the negative, because you claim yourself the GM. So the GM has to answer personnel questions. And if you can't tolerate personnel questions, man, that's a personal problem. And you got personal with the radio host, threaten a man's job, and he'll get somebody else. It ain't even your station, bro. I know you got a contract with them. It's not your station. You threaten a man's job. So if Jerry Jones called the station manager a 105.3 The Fan and get the man fired, man, I was always the Jerry fan. I can't tell him what to do with his team. But after yesterday, I was just like, dude, I'm truly done with you.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with my comrades over here. Everything that they said, it's embarrassing. I've always been pro Jerry. I mean, Uncle Jerry. We jab at him here and there, but for the most part, I was actually thrilled to have an owner that's so invested in their team. And yeah, I mean, I think this is probably the first time we can actually say that he's not wearing, or he forgets that he's the owner sometimes, and he forgets that he's the GM, or he doesn't know which hat he's wearing, because this just goes to prove that you can't do both. Any other GM from any other team would have answered that question, just like a GM would. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that every other 13 teams that lost this weekend, their GMs had to face questions just like that. So for Jerry to think that just because he sponsors them, just because he comes on their show, and I'm sure he, puts a lot of money into that show, and I believe it. He probably knows how to producer's phone number. He can make one phone call and all those guys are fired and they'll be replaced by the next show. So, I mean, let's just call it for what it is. It's a bitch move.
Yeah.
And I'm really disappointed in what he did.
Well, and I agree. I understand the fact.
That was a crack 'em. I heard
crack 'em. Crack 'em if you got him. Crack. Guys, don't ever hold those off. You get those. You get those in you right away. You get those in you right away. But I agree with you guys, and I think most people watching, you could put yourself in a situation where somebody with a lot more money or a lot more power in a situation has the swing, right? And the last thing you want for somebody to do is threaten your job. That probably could get you fired, right? But like Bootsy said, that is just a pure bitch move, and we've always been Jerry boys. I got a hat sitting over there with Jerry's signature on it, but that was one of the things he's done that kind of, I was like, man, that's pretty bullshit. You're just playing this billionaire figurehead now, and he wants to take all the credit when the team is good. Well, you know what? Then if you want to get all the credit when the team is good, you better be ready to take all the fucking credit when the team is bad. So
exactly. I think exactly. We were, or I was a Jerry boy, but he really needs to swallow his pride and come out and apologize in some way that's actually meaningful. And I'm not saying like, or I'm never going to watch the Cowboys. It's just like, look, I think he showed his true colors, and we all crack. And I think that's exactly what we saw. Is Jerry Jones had a moment of his belief that he is the best GM for the Dallas Cowboys, potentially cracking. And for a dude who, I don't want to go here and judge someone's psyche because I don't have any credentials, but he's been called a narcissist, and I think he shows some of those traits for sure. But I think a true leader shares, they never take credit for victories. They share the victory, or even just disperse the victory, and they take the blame. And Jerry right there just kind of showed like where he kind of sits. If he was just an owner, we would be totally fine with him talking like that. But it's the power that he has within the organization to make personnel calls. And obviously, if he was just the owner, he probably wouldn't be getting those calls. Or actually, he might have an actually really good answer about threatening the GM and his job instead of the radio host. So it's a tough situation. Go ahead, sorry, Chris.
I'm sorry. This is the real issue I had, and me and Boots talked about this last night on my show. Is when the reporter from The Athletic was in Atlanta and asked him about why he reacted that way. And Jerry Jones literally said, I can handle the heat, the question, but I can't take it from my flagship station.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you're not catering to me, I'm not answering anything you said. And I think that's garbage, man. You know, just because they're the flagship station, I don't understand why, you know, they can't hit you with a legitimate question. It wasn't even a shock jock question or anything like. It was a legitimate question that every Cowboy fan wants to know, and they want Jerry Jones to answer because he is the GM.
Yeah, no, and it's
the point sorry, Ant, not to cut you off, but the point of the radio DJ in that instance, if I'm not
is to ask
mistaken,
questions that everyone's
is
thinking.
to ask questions, the questions people are asking. He's not there to be like, well, I'm selfishly going to ask everything I want to know. And for the other thing that kind of pissed me off is for Jerry Jones to call into on that reply to Chris, and correct me if I'm wrong, but he kind of slighted them and said they're not real fans. And I felt that was like, what do you mean? So these guys, okay, so then if they are just paid heads, then do exactly what you said, because they probably don't give a shit if they are working for the Cowboys. Obviously, they care enough, you know, and it just felt really, it left a bad taste in my mouth and everyone else's mouth. But sorry, we have him on here, and I mean, this is a man whose opinion we must hear about Jerry Jones here. All Even Podcast, Barry Grant Jr. Welcome, my dude. And just to bring you up to speed, we were just going over the 105.3 FM interview that Jerry Jones had and the kind of fallout from that.
Good night, fellas.
You not feeling it? You not feeling it? Okay, well, thanks, Barry Grant. We'll talk to you in a minute. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Here's the thing, guys. You had to have seen this coming, right? Jerry Jones is a malignant narcissist. People like Jerry Jones, they only want to be praised for when they do things right. So no matter what dumpster fire or what bargain bazaar free agents he signs in the offseason, he wants you to have the same energy and praise him for whoever he brings in. Oh, we brought Zeke back. Oh my goodness, we're going to be so great. Oh, we have no wide receivers other than CeeDee Lamb. No worry, Jerry, it's going to be fine. Oh, that's fine. The offensive line is put together by a bunch of, you got some rookies, some old guys there. Oh, it's fine. That's what it is. And somebody had asked me before, do you blame Jerry Jones? Do you blame this? Do you blame the coach? Do you blame? No, Jerry Jones is who he is, right? We need to stop allowing him to gaslight us as a fan base. And those guys on that radio show said such after the fact, is that, they were upset about it, but they want to see how it happens, how it transpires after the fact. But we as a fan base, we need to stop doing this sane washing of the Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones. We do it after every week. We do it after every season. This man has not put together a structure to be successful for a long period of time. You need a GM. You need a coach that's going to be able to have autonomy to do stuff. We are the only organization that is run like the WWE. And guess what happened? Guess what happened in the WWE? Vince McMahon is no longer there anymore. So even they had to realize that it's time to let go as well. So this is my thing. We need to start realizing what we're dealing with. I think most of us do, but a lot of us still sane wash this organization. And we saw it on full display on that radio show, is that this guy is in decline. This guy, he doesn't want to be fact-checked. He doesn't want to be held accountable. And Dallas Cowboy fans have had enough. We've literally had enough. We've seen this team in the same state of affairs for years, and we're just done with it. We really are.
Well, and so it's kind of funny because it's the bye week, right? It's the bye week with the Cowboys. We instantly get hit with the Jerry Jones stuff, right? So that feels like a big L right out of the get-go after watching the Detroit Lions mollywop us. I'll take Cowboys Chris's word, mollywopping us. And then it's just another L I found for us was you're seeing all these trades. You're seeing Devontae Adams go to the Jets. You're seeing a guy that the Cowboys traded away for a 5th round. Yeah, let me get one too. Crack him if you got him. AJ, I love your style. I love your style. You just go for it. And when you go for it, it's like putting up that bat signal.
I wait till you're about to make a really good point, and then I say, hey, now is the time.
And it's time, baby. But then you see a guy that the Cowboys traded away for a 5th round pick in Amari Cooper getting traded to the Buffalo Bills for a 3rd round. So it's like the Cowboys are just getting served up L's during their bye week already, and it's early in the bye week. I don't know what's the next loss that we're going to hear.
But can I just add on to that? Because it kind of goes forward, tags onto that, is Jerry Jones also says, just because we're shitting on Jerry, let's
shit on him, but like a big diarrhea poo.
Cowboys are not making any moves before the trade deadline, and this is the team that we're going to see in week 18 and beyond if we're so lucky.
Oh, man. Bye week right now, though, fellas. I just want to ask whoever wants to hop in. We'll start with Cowboys Chris from the Cowboys Up podcast. What are you thinking about this the bye week? Start off the bye week, coming off of that 47-9 loss to the Lions, right into this bye week.
Well, first of all, man, I'm really, when I was watching the game, especially in the 3rd quarter, I was like, will this game ever be over with? You know, I titled our show yesterday, go get the switch. Okay. So basically what the Lions did, man, they went and they got the switch and they did it to us, and it didn't feel good. Okay. So when it didn't feel good, I figured a couple things was going to happen, because a real GM, real owner would have made some changes, okay, immediately to their team to improve it, since we're all in, correct? Well, of course that didn't happen. Then you go back and you berate your show host, just so you can get the pressure off you. But now the pressure is on you even more. Okay, I think the Cowboys and the Cowboy fans need this bye week terribly.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one is because our whole team is hurt. Okay. You know, I think our offense didn't help our defense at all. You know, we know our defense is depleted. We have people out, especially our stars. But when our offense basically just go and shit the bed, and y'all know I'm a Dacker. I am 100% on board with Dak. But it just seems like him and Mike McCarthy can't continue drives just to give the defense a breather. And then that fourth down on our own 40-yard line, and it wasn't even close to being completed to getting the first down, and they go down and score again right before halftime, and then come right back after halftime and score again. The game was freaking over. Okay, so basically, man, this bye week is needed. I think Mike McCarthy himself, man, need to check himself too. Because play calling, not putting Rico in the game, giving him the ball. We have no ball control, because the Lions could tee off on the Cowboys at any moment, because they know we were one-dimensional. We wasn't going to run the ball, and then you're going to get a pass rushing defense, a full reign to pin back their ears and come get you. And then the first thing we going to do is blame Dak Prescott. Well, he was on the run the whole damn night, and our fucking Hall of Famer is looking like, he ain't played ball before, and I think he's hurt. So, it's just a lot of things.
Talking about Zach Martin.
Yeah, we're talking about Zach. Y'all know I'm a big offensive lineman. I love Zach Martin and everything, but it just seemed like he's hurt. But I'm sorry, I didn't want to digress on that. But basically, man, the bye week has come at a great time. The Cowboys, especially Mike McCarthy, need to reboot, get this offense going, just so we can give the defense some kind of breather.
Do it, EJ.
Do it, EJ.
Dive in.
We want to hear it.
Put those toes in the pool and jump, baby.
Here's my thing. You can talk about Jerry Jones all night. I'll defend Jerry a little bit. The last 4 big contracts he has signed to players, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, Zach Martin, none of them have looked up to the par that they're getting paid this season. So, I mean, there is some leeway for Jerry Jones there. Here's what I will say. For Zeke to go in there and complain about playing time and get double the carries of Rico Dowdle is insane. What in the hell did this dude what does he have on Jerry Jones that's allowing him to get this playing time? because he is slower than. I don't want to say that joke.
Say it. Say it.
No.
Say it.
Say it.
I was gonna say slower than the kids that ride the short bus. But listen,
Okay, he
I
said it.
don't understand how he can get on the field and look like he has 20-pound sandbags on his shoulders and continue to get playing time. It just does not look good. You saw what Rico adds to the offense in Pittsburgh, and then you allowed it to regress again. Same thing happened with Mike McCarthy in this offense after the bye last year. We were using motion. We were using those bunch formations. We were using different route concepts and just at the stick curls. And now this season, we've completely regressed again back to 90s offense. I'm completely lost for words when discussing the offense. I know that the defense has had their share of big blows. Kendricks didn't play last game. Bland, we thought we were going to get back. He didn't come back. D-Law, Micah's out, obviously, and the list goes on and on. But still, regardless of that, you thought that at least your offense could be good and chase points against the Lions defense. Is really not that good, but they looked all world. Brian Branch won NFC Player of the Week. I mean, it's just crazy. The bye week, though, comes at a good time for the Cowboys because they have to figure some stuff out, and hopefully it gets in line with what we saw last year whenever we went from the bye. And we start to actually open up this offense and get Dak to the same place that he was last year, which is actually being a good quarterback, because right now he looks like a shell of himself.
Barry, what do you got? Going into the bye week, how you feeling? Then let's be honest.
Listen, you see the hat that I have on right here? I'm focused on the New York Mets in the playoffs. That's how bad this season has been for me in regards to watching the Dallas Cowboys. They're just a disaster to watch. It's no fun. Nothing is fun about this team right now. The head coach, he looks clueless. Of course, he's been clueless for the last few seasons. Jerry Jones is just Jerry Jones. Zeke is getting more opportunities than he should have. Rico Dowdle is okay, but is he a number one? No. And the thing is, Dak Prescott is here trying to figure things out and trying to man the offense. But here's my problem is that, as I stated in the opening, you can be able to talk about Jerry Jones. You could talk about the coaching staff. This is the same group of guys pretty much, right? You know, obviously you had some subtractions, but this is pretty much the same group of guys. We've seen this group get the doors blown off of them for 4 straight games at home. At some point, these players need to start having some pride. Have some pride, get into some fights, do something to be able to say, hey, listen, enough is enough. Like, you're not just going to come in here and pick us up, pick us around or bully us around, punch us in the face, and we're not going to respond. Like, show some fight. At the very minimum, Dallas Cowboy fans will appreciate if you go out there, you put up a fight, you lose, but you don't look like you quit on the field. And that's what we've seen for the last amount of time here, the last few games. They just don't look like a team that can compete with anybody that's above average. Below average teams, like the Giants and the Browns, okay, yeah, we're going to puff our chest out. But against really good teams, you don't see that same type of energy and same type of vibe. So they need to start playing. It's not about the coaching staff for me. It's not about anybody else. It's about these players that need to go grow some nuts and play some football.
So don't be going on vacation during the bye week. Watch some film, hit the goddamn weights, right? Like, do some shit. Boots,
Do some ayahuasca.
Yeah, get some ayahuasca. Lock yourself away.
Sorry, real quick, Boots. I did see that EJ cracked a beer open.
Did he?
I just want to get that crack about.
Twisted. Twist it if you're pissed at him.
Twist
Twist
it
him if you're pissed at him.
Twist it if you fist it.
There you go, baby.
Okay, Boots, what do you got for going into the bye week? How are you feeling going into this bye week after that 47-9 trouncing?
Ooh. Well, it's hard to come up with an answer. Barry is giving me some PTSD. He mentioned the 4 beatdowns we took at AT&T, and I was there for 2 of those. I was there at the Green Bay playoff game, and I was there for the home opener against the Saints, so that is bad. But, I mean, I can't help but just agree with these guys, EJ and Big Fella over here. I mean, they pretty much said everything. I wasn't so upset on the defense because we did have what 6 starters that weren't playing.
5 or 6,
But
yeah, pretty close to that.
yeah, so it doesn't surprise me that we actually lost, but I didn't think it was going to be a 38-point massacre. The fact that Rico Dowdle got less carries than Zeke blows my mind, considering the week he had against, or the game he had against Pittsburgh. And then the fact that Rico Dowdle had like more targets than Jalen Tolbert when he himself, Tolbert, had a game against Philly. It just doesn't make any sense. And what really upsets me is even though the Cowboys won against the Steelers, you heard all these locker room chats about CeeDee Lamb complaining that he didn't get enough targets, even though they won. Like he was like maybe a little bit jealous that somebody else was getting the attention from the wide receivers. And then you got Zeke coming out and he's complaining about his carries after your team won. Like,
Yeah, you
be
fucking
happy
won.
for your team.
You won.
You know, it'd be different. It's like, hey, we lost. Well, you know what? They didn't throw me the ball. Or hey, you know what? We lost, but they didn't give me any carries. But we freaking won with what we had with that patch line offense that we had. And then you get this. So I feel like leadership Dak. You know I'm a Dak writer, but he needs to nut up and say, CD, you want the ball? Get freaking open.
Yeah.
You know, same thing to Zeke. Hey, you're my buddy. We're best friends, but hey, man, you know you just don't have it anymore.
You look like a defensive tackle running the football right now, Zeke. Why? Why?
Yeah,
No,
like,
you
I
don't
have more
deserve
faith
the
in
ball. News flash, dickhead. You look like you look like Jason Witten running the football right now. Nothing against Jason Witten because he still
knew what he was doing.
He got first downs, but Zeke just every time he touches the ball looks so slow.
He's stepping out of syrup.
Yeah.
He's got syrup. He's got 2 buckets of syrup on either side of him, and he's trying to step
100%.
out of that.
He looks like he's on a boat with the mafia with cinder blocks on his feet, going for his final sleep.
I will say this. Just speaking specifically of last game, running, I think, CD in 5 of the first 7 or 6, whichever runs it was. Zeke, sorry, Zeke, was too much. I mean, CD probably maybe would have done better. And then to not be run. I mean, shit, I don't think the Cowboys had a chance within the red zone that they didn't fucking just give away. But to not have CD active when you're in those first or second yard and goal situations, where I think that's what CD can do, is he can get you a yard and a half. And it was the game before, with the fumble.
Yes. It's like they took from Rico Dowdle, they took one play at the end of the game, his fumble on the goal line, and we're like, okay, well, your plays are getting diminished, even though he had, following that drive to get them even into the position to score, he had a couple very nice runs. It was very strange, the Rico Dowdle regression going into this game, but that's a good way to lead in. Like, what do the Cowboys have to do to fix this offense going forward, guys? Like, we've seen, I know you guys talked about how the Cowboys last year going into the bye were kind of stagnant. And then when they came back from the bye, it seemed like stuff started to work out a little bit. But what's the main thing that the Cowboys have to do in any of your guys' opinions? And we'll start off with Bot G this time on offense to kind of get the wheels in motion.
Well, the pieces are there. I mean, we saw it on that Pittsburgh game, and I go back to that last drive, or second to the last drive when Martin was hurt. I think we had Brock Hoffman at right guard. We had Bass over on left guard, and they did pretty good. They did really good with that. So I feel like if Zach Martin is hurt, then you need to bench him. You need to let him get healthy and put your players that can play in the game. And if you're not comfortable with BB being center, then put Brock Hoffman at center. Get some veteran center in there that can help kind of dictate the offense a little bit and pointing things out for Dak. I think on defense, we're going to be okay. I mean, once we get back to Ron Bland, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, and more importantly, I think Eric Kendricks being that veteran presence that already understands Zimmer's defense. I think that was the biggest thing that we missed out from that. But offensively, I mean, we have Lupke. Instead of handing the ball to Rico, why don't you, or Zeke, give it to freaking Lupke. Let him pound it in.
Yeah, no, a lot of people are kind of, when we've watched and Hunter Lupke gets the ball, we are all jacked up about it. He's like, they've kind of referenced him as kind of a Mike Allstott guy, but it's like, for him to be that Mike Allstott guy, you kind of need to give him some chances. I don't think he got a single carry in the game against the Lions. I don't think he got a single catch. So I don't know, as far as the running game, it's in scrambles, but EJ, if you had to fix the offense right now, what are some main things you would do?
The biggest problem with this offense right now is you have a number 3 wide receiver playing your number 2 in Jalen Tolbert. They don't have a package for Kevontae Turpin. You see the Saints with like Clint Kubiak. They have an entire package centered around Raheem Shaheed. He catches like 2 balls every single week for a touchdown because they just use him right. We don't know how to use Turpin. Brooks, I don't know what the hell he's doing. He just needs to just be inactive. Flournoy had a nice catch, fumbled it. I really think that you need to trade for another wide receiver. It doesn't have to be, some crazy draft capital, but something just to open up some stuff for CD. But you have to be willing to use the motion. You have to be willing to use bunch formations for your smaller wide receivers to allow them to get off, and so they're not always fighting through those jammed up corners at the line. You have to be willing to use different route concepts than just some stick curls on every 3rd and long because you continue to force feed runs on 1st and 2nd down for no reason with Zeke that goes for 1.5 yards per carry. You have to be better in pass pro for Dak. Listen, Dak has not been good, but I think if you dial it back and say, Dak, you do not have to play hero ball. We're going to help you out with the play calling. I think you'll be much better the weeks later after that. I guess I'm just going to continue to grow out my beard until Dak finally cleans up the red zone interceptions.
You're gonna look like Tom Hanks in Castaway.
Yeah, I guess so, because the dude cannot stop throwing red zone interceptions, and it must be some type of virus because Cooper Rush goes down there and does the exact same thing in garbage time. So I have no idea what they have in the water there in Dallas, but they need to get some plumbers in there, fix that, and hopefully it happens over the bye week.
I like that you brought up turnovers because turnovers have been, especially in the red zone. It hasn't been turnovers. It's been turnovers in the red zone. I think they have and penalties. They had 4 turnovers in the red zone in the last 2 games. Barry Grant Jr. of the All Even podcast, you get the option to fix the Cowboys offense. And no, you're not allowed to fire everybody. What do you do to fix them?
Fire the GM.
I would say speed the offense up a bit. I think that I would like to see a lot more hurry up in regards to what they're doing. Get to the line, have some type of packages, just like what EJ was saying, right? Make sure Turpin is involved. Get some screen passes, like get some movement. Like something is just too stagnant with this team. They're too fucking predictable. You know what I mean? Like you see other offenses out there, they have a lot of motion on the line. You have a lot of guys that are just moving everywhere. They have different route tree concepts. We don't have that. And yeah, we're not getting separation. So maybe you need to create some better route trees or whatever it is for these guys so they can be able to manufacture getting open. They can't do it off of skill. So maybe we need to go ahead and have some more, schematic plays for these guys to be able to get open. I think we have probably the worst separation percentage in the league in regards to our receivers. That's not good. So you have to find ways to utilize and try to move the ball downfield. So I think that if they do a lot more hurry up, they can be able to do that. I don't think we should ever see Zeke unless it's, 3rd and inches or 3rd and goal. Like make him be the goal line guy. Give Rico Dowdle a shot. Can we see Dalvin Cook already? I've seen enough of Zeke. I've seen enough of anybody else. Let's see what Dalvin Cook can be able to give us, because if he's washed, let me see it. I know what Zeke looks like. I'd like to see what Dalvin Cook looks like. So we do a lot more hurry up. I think we can be able to figure it out. But also, too, it goes to number 4. He needs to focus. The fact that he's throwing red zone interceptions, that's a lack of focus. And you need that. You can't be giving up points like that. This is a team that our margin of error is very, very razor thin. You can't keep making mistakes like that because it's just going to put us in ruts every single week.
I couldn't agree more with the interceptions. Just absolutely brutal. And big fella, last but not least, how are you fixing this offense, my guy?
Well, first of all, EJ, man, you growing your beard, think you're gonna look like Castaway. Hey, think about mine getting whiter by the day because of the Cowboys doing this to me. And appreciate the old school sweater you're rocking too. Look, it's like this, man, for me. With Dak Prescott and the offense is at its best when Dak throws the ball less than 35 times. And that happens because the Cowboys run the ball. The Cowboys don't do no play action pass. You can watch the Lions, man. As soon as they ran the ball, got some good yardage when they were pushing our defensive line 5 yards down the field before they even get to the damn running back. You know, that set up their play action where they can do anything in the world. Okay? But since the Cowboys have no play action, they're a one-dimensional team, and it shows on the field when we play a righteous opponent, okay? So we got these Niners next. And you know the last 3 times we played the Niners, what they done to us. And you know why they did it to us? Because they play bully ball. When the Cowboys play teams that bully you, they turn the SOF capital T, soft. They're soft as hell. So I agree with what y'all said. We need a little attitude on the offense. We have no attitude at all, man. Last year, when we were putting up all those points, the offense had attitude. They had a purpose, man. You knew the Cowboys were going to score 30 points every week. You knew it. Now, we're hoping to get 14 from the offense, and we ain't even getting that. Hey, if Brandon Aubrey wasn't on the team, dude, we get shut out.
Oh, my goodness.
We get shut out. So when Brandon Aubrey outscored the offense, that's a problem, okay? So a guy said this on our show, and I've been stealing it ever since. He said, because we got a good kicker now, it's a detriment to the Cowboys. And I said, how is that a detriment? Because we got a good kicker. He said, Chris, every time we get over the 50, Mike McCarthy gets conservative because he know he has 3 in the bag.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
it's true.
I didn't believe it. So I'm watching the game, and every time he gets over the 50, his whole offense changes because we got Brandon Aubrey. So my suggestion is, hey man, get your nuts back.
Yep.
Mike McCarthy, get your nuts back, and let's play some fucking football.
Can't find him, bro. His belly's too big.
Mike, you gotta act like if you don't win another football game, you will never get Whataburger ever again.
Oh shit,
ever again. That's how you have to have that as your focus. EJ, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say Jerry Jones scammed everybody to come to those games since we're 0-3 at home now. But the real scam that happened is anybody that bought a Zeke number 15 jersey.
I almost did, man.
My God, get your money back.
Almost guilty. It wasn't off a knockoff site, so it wasn't.
You don't want to remember 15 Zeke.
No, I don't want to remember 15 Zeke. I look like 15 Zeke right now.
EJ is wrong. We're 0-4 at home. 0-4. We're not 0-3.
Don't get
0-4. You're right.
EJ,
you're right.
EJ, don't get big fella fired up. He will come through the screen at you. Okay.
Well, and AJ, I said big fella was last, but I'm not going to leave you hanging without your opinion. What do you think you need to do to get this offense back and going?
I think
okay, well, we have a sponsor. Okay. I'm just kidding. Let's hear it, AJ.
Real quick. It is very quick because everyone makes awesome points. And I don't know, the offensive line, I mean, you could continue to kind of find that right mix and medley. And I'd love for them to keep testing guys out. My only holdback to that, which I'm not against, would be like we want Cooper to get the field as much as we can, BB to get the field as much as we can. We want Guyton to get the field as much as they can, if we think that they can eventually develop into the player that we're looking for.
Get those growing pains.
You got to go through that one way or the other. But anyways, that's just besides the point. That would help Dak a lot. But I think what would help the offense the most, a running back, I don't think is as like that. I think would be one of the more effective things. I just don't think it's most practical right now. But I think the wide receiver option, bringing in someone who could we get for, like, if Amari Cooper's going for a third, and so is Devontae Adams going for a third, who can we get for a fourth? Who's in the tier below
Trey Lance
that might be available? Trey Lance.
Get Trey Lance.
He's a quarterback.
Oh yeah, we have him already.
Hey,
good thing we already got him.
I would try Trey Lance at running back. Screw it.
Right?
I mean, it can't
Why
get much
not?
worse.
Or just put him in
Double
the
QB
slot.
package?
Put him in the
Double-
slot somewhere. Like just throw a ball at him.
We gotta use the man. He's just sitting there. But that's my thing is and it doesn't sound like the Cowboys are gonna do it. So I'm kind of bummed out. But I'd love for them to go out and get someone who I'm a little surprised about. Who I'm like, okay, like maybe in that Hollywood Brown type of category.
He's injured right now, though. But I know what you
He's
mean, like
injured.
a relevance kind of to that.
Not Hollywood Brown. I mean, shoot, I wouldn't be against that. But just someone who's like, okay, like you hear his name, you're like, yeah, there's some goodness there.
How Brandon Cooks was 2 years before he came to the Cowboys.
Absolutely, yes.
Kind of a guy
Before
like that.
he played on 4 other teams.
All right, guys, we're going to hop into some more questions. But before we do that, we got to pay some bills.
Pay some bills. Underdog Fantasy.
Underdog Fantasy.
We are back to the greatest time of year again. It is the NFL football season, and it's here to stay until February.
Yes.
Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog.
And you can win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on your favorite player stats. Examples could be touchdown, passing yards, and more.
Woo!
Dak Prescott being that new, freshly signed, highest paid quarterback for the NFL and the Dallas Cowboys, I got to take him for the higher on passing yards.
Absolutely. And look, when I'm looking at our Cowboys here, I'm going to be taking that CeeDee Lamb multiplier because the boy is just here to play and he's here to stay. Get used to it.
And myself, I'm going to be looking at you two to help fashion my underdog picks for the week.
Take the higher.
Take the lower.
I want the higher.
Take what you want, but you gotta play Underdog Fantasy.
Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. You just have to head over to Underdog's simple to use mobile app or underdogfantasy.com. Sign up with promo code CANFAN, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use your first cash pick'em entry plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code CANFAN to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. You must be 18 years or older, 19 plus in Alabama or New England, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. Or visit www.ncpgambling.org. For Arizona, it's 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-8778-HOPE-NY. Or text HOPE-NY to 467-369.
Anyways, appreciate y'all. This is Underdog Fantasy Sports.com.
Okay, back to our... And we're back, fellas, to regular programming. How are you guys doing? You guys are.
Did you survive?
Are you guys rushing to Underdog Sports to place your? Oh yeah, okay, AJ, let me get in on that too. Crack 'em if you got them. After sitting through that 14-minute ad, we have to get another drink in us, guys. So we already talked about how we want to fix the offense naturally. Well, what comes next after that? How do you fix the defense?
And let's start with you.
You're gonna ask me how to start the defense.
We're gonna start with you.
I'm gonna give a very vanilla answer because I want to hear these guys' takes, and I don't want to take any of theirs. I think get healthy in the bye week. I think that's your easiest way for this defense to get better is to get healthy on the bye week. Get Deron Bland and get Micah Parsons back for those 9 nerds in 2 weeks. That's going to be our best way.
And let me just coattail you there.
Okay, coattail.
Mine's very quick too. I think I think there are problems on defense. It's more in the like second and third spots of the depth chart, which we are now experiencing because so many starters are out. So again, I'm if there was a move to be made, I would want it to be made for defense.
Defense.
And the Cowboys just seem to be signing every single unemployed or UFL defensive tackle in the league. Like there's a new defensive tackle signed every week. But anyways, yes, let's move on. Let's start with Bot G, our boy.
Listen, when you own a helicopter, you shouldn't be, thrift store shopping clearance section because I mean, I say the updates online and like, oh, Cowboys just signed this guy from the XFL, and I'm just like, who?
From the CFL? Like who?
He's not even on the NFL practice squad.
Yeah, you're not even on a practice squad right now. I mean,
You're
sure,
not.
like that's tough.
It's not the answer. It's not the answer. Well, exactly what Ant said is we need to get healthy, and I think we are. When Kendricks gets back, it's going to make a world of difference. I think Micah Parsons should probably be played at linebacker and only put him at defensive end on obvious passing downs. But other than that, I think him, D-Lock coming back, and getting Deron Bland and getting everyone back to their regular position, I think we're going to be okay on that defensive end. And I think, if we play good defense, I think, even if the offense only gives us 20, 24 points a game, I think it might be enough to win.
Yeah, I think
hope so.
You know what? It's interesting, Baji, because I was not really into the idea of playing Mike because I was like, look, the guy's got a skill, let's rush him. But it would be interesting to see him fall back to linebacker. I'm not saying, 80-20 kind of split linebacker DE style, but not like a complete reverse. But I'd like to see him just a little bit more because if the payoff is better for him playing in that linebacker position and we get less pressures on the quarterback, but it makes our defense stronger, obviously I think that anyone would say, okay, let's make that move. But we need to see it for sure.
Well, and it's interesting enough, and I don't know the exact numbers, but how many times, just for your guys' memories, and I know we're kind of going on a little Can Fan side quest here, but how often in your guys' memories on first down when they're running it is Micah making a tackle on the line? Not very often. A lot of the time they're actually running right at him. Yeah. They kind of run right at Micah Parsons. So I don't disagree with that, Bocce. That could be a smart move.
Barry Grant of the All Even podcast. The villain himself.
I think yes, the villain.
I got a question real quick for you, Barry. Does that Joker behind you sing?
No, he doesn't. I wish he did. He would keep me sane, watching a lot of Cowboys games. So,
yes.
No, he doesn't sing. But I think it's more about getting healthy, obviously, right? Like what Baji said, I think it would be beneficial, and we've said this for a couple of seasons now. Move Micah around. Don't just keep him in one spot. Let him be the hybrid guy that he needs to be, right? You can't really keep him at linebacker because he makes a lot of mistakes there. Can't really keep him at end because he tends to get gassed there. Move him around. Make the defense or the offense kind of try to find him and try to locate him and try to scheme that way. Also, too, I think guys on the defensive end, they have to buy into what Mike Zimmer's doing. I think that guys need to study a little bit more. They need to understand what the hell the concepts are because a lot of times these guys look confused on defense. They don't know where they're supposed to be. They don't know what their assignments are. They're blowing assignments. These are things that you have to go ahead and buy into whatever whatever the game plan is. If players are not buying in, you're going to keep seeing them get the doors being, blown off of them every single week. So they got to buy in. They got to stop this me type of attitude. This team is very, very selfish right now. They behave selfishly, and they need to start, use this bye week to come together, have some meetings, hold people accountable, and get to work. You know what I mean? Like enough with the bullshit, enough with the excuses, enough with the crying. Go ahead and buy in and do what you have to do because Mike Zimmer is not a terrible coach, and I don't believe his scheme is that bad. I think that these guys are just not really buying in and they're kind of giving up. So that's what they have to do. They got to get back to fundamental football.
That's interesting because a lot of people have mentioned and written about and players have spoken about how Zimmer's defense is a little bit more cerebral. And in the past, he would sit guys who didn't understand his scheme regardless of it, or, obviously probably not any stars that he had an issue with. But maybe that's what we're seeing here is he has to play with this a group of guys that aren't buying into the scheme, don't know the packages inside and out. A lot of what he'd mentioned in the past about his defense is, or people have talked about is, you need to learn not just what you're doing, but what everyone else is doing for it to work. So that's something I don't know that I could do, to be quite honest. And I think it takes a special person. And that might be something that the Cowboys are running into. So hopefully this week.
Mike Zimmer, not to cut you off, AJ, but Mike Zimmer needs high IQ guys on defense. Now, if guys are struggling, maybe they're not really that high IQ in regards to understanding their roles.
Dummies.
So that's probably the issue.
We call them dummies. EJ Savage, how do you fix this defense that just got absolutely hammer smashed against the Lions? Like hammer smashed. Guys, as a Cowboys fan for, I'm going to say 20 years, in recent memory, that was the worst defeat I can remember at home. Like, it was bad. Like,
Worse
Cowboys.
than Green Bay.
Well, not with when you put the circumstance, right? Not when you put circumstance involved, but yeah, it was. Yeah, it was worse. I've never by the third quarter been like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna eat pizza and drink. Usually I'm like right into it, pissed off, and I told the guys,
we still got a chance.
I had to say to the bandwagon boys, I said, guys, this one's done. Let's just eat pizza on stream and get drunk.
Yeah.
And we did. And it actually...
By the third quarter, like Chris mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
By the third quarter, I was like...
Yeah, fuck it.
Holy shit.
So, EJ, how do you fix this defense so we're not just drinking and eating pizza by the third quarter?
Yeah, I think that everybody hit it. Getting healthy is going to be one thing. Now, Jerry said he doesn't want to go out and make any moves. Well, at least players. He can go make a move. I think this will help us. Go hire some dudes that are some local crackheads or something. Have them follow around these players and just absolutely mess up their cars, piss them off a little bit, make them mad. So whenever they go into the games, they want to get out, some stress, and they want to just hit something. Because the only dog on defense right now that I think is out there on a down-to-down basis is Jordan Lewis.
Yep.
And he always seems like he's mad. So maybe hire some crackheads, mess up some cars, it's under the table, just straight cash. You don't have to, write any checks. I think that this could help them, especially with...
he doesn't need to hire crackheads, just hire me. Like, I'll come do it.
He might have...
Yeah, hire fans that are pissed off. There you go. No, but on a serious note, you have to figure out how to stop opposing teams' running attack and force them into passing the ball, because the reinforcements are coming. Kalen Carson should be back. Deron Bland should be back after the bye.
Yeah.
Diggs, you just point blank, you got to say, listen, we paid you all this money. You're coming off an injury. Tackle somebody.
Yeah.
For the love of God, try to tackle somebody. And force them into your strength right now, which should be at least your secondary. But that starts with the front seven. If you can't stop the running attack, it's only going to go so far. So got to figure out how to get some big nasties in there, or motivate some guys, put some Twinkies on some rods, something, I don't know, and motivate those big dudes in the middle.
Yep, I agree. Hey, that's great answer.
Big Chris.
Big fella.
Well, first of all, kids, crack is whack.
Hey, clearly you ain't never tried it.
So, hey man, this is my issue. Okay, we need players. The Cowboys have no players on the front four. Okay, the front four, including and I love the Diggy Zua. Including the Diggy Zua, my Michigan man Mozzie, I nicknamed him Skates. Skates. Skates is
that sounds like some Disney movie.
Dude, always on film, rolling backwards, 10 yards downfield, and it irritates me so, just because y'all know I'm a Michigan man. I seen the kid play, and he was never like that at Michigan. And here for the Cowboys, and he's always on skates. So when we improved the linebacker room, and we got bigger, got stronger, got faster, because Overshown is back, my new favorite player on the Cowboys.
Hey-o.
And it's hard for them to make tackles because the damn defensive line is always in their fucking lap. They're always in their lap. So then we go out and get, I call them the true value players, the Walmart players. They go get the Walmart players, the true value players, and try to put them on the field because they're my size, 6'3", 335. But if I ain't played football in 35 years, it looks like they ain't played in 35 years. They getting blown off the damn ball. Okay? So enough with the true value. And I heard this stat the other day. The Dallas Cowboys in the last 3 years has spent the least amount of money in the NFL. The least amount of money. But then Jerry Jones would like to tell you, we can't sign these players because we had to sign Dak, we had to sign CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Parsons coming up, and we had to sign Trey Diggs. Okay, but you well up under the cap. So you have opportunities. You had opportunities to improve your team, especially the defense. That was our complaint last year. The Cowboys cannot stop the run. Our linebackers are light in the ass. You improve the linebackers just because Overshown came back healthy. You went and signed Kendricks. Okay, he's kind of on that borderline. I was begging for Patrick Queen just so we can get somebody big and nasty and just hit somebody. Okay, and that's bad that our nickel corner is the most aggressive damn person on the damn defense. From Michigan, by the way. Anyway, so I just want, I'm a big old offensive lineman. Okay, but one thing I hated is when your defensive tackles, nose guards were nasty. Your middle linebackers was nasty. Man, I hate to block this dude. I gotta deal with this attitude for 4 quarters. The Cowboys have nobody on their team with that attitude.
Yep. And man, I did a little breakdown. No, I wouldn't even say a breakdown. I did an all 22 of Damone Clark. I'm shamelessly plugging it right now.
Yeah.
An all 22 of Damone Clark. And I just have it just watching him. And you couldn't say it more. He's your middle linebacker, and he's scared to make a tackle. He somehow led the defense in tackles against the Lions, but there was at least 8 times where he either just ran right past the guy or just refused to dive at him or tackle him. And it's like, man, that's your middle linebacker. In my mind, if Damone Clark plays any more middle linebacker or any game he plays middle linebacker, this team loses because he just does not have that killer instinct.
It's a problem every time you see Damone Clark on the field. If Damone Clark is on the field, I just start praying. Remember, I was up in Chilliwack when they played Buffalo, and you see Damone Clark making highlight films, get his ass blown up, on national TV.
Yep.
And it still hadn't changed. But then the Cowboys keep put his ass out there on the field like that's the only answer they got. It's ridiculous, man. They need some dogs, man. And right now on the Cowboys defense, I don't care that Michael Parsons, I don't care that Tank is hurt. Man, when you play defense, you got to be a dog. You got to be mean. You got to be pissed off, man, and tell the crackhead to stay out of my car because I'm going to kick his ass the next time I see him. But they don't have it.
And another thing, though, with this front office, in years past, we would sign the bad guys from other teams, Pac-Man Jones, Hardy from the Panthers. We're not even willing to do that. What are we doing? You got to have some dogs on the defense. The problem was we faced a team of Michigan guys in the Detroit Lions last game, and they just kicked our ass. So,
Smacked them around. Guys, I got a question.
I just think that Stephen
Barry,
Jones has a lot to do with it. I'm sorry, guy. I think that we're seeing the influence of the idiot son on this organization.
Catboy. We call him Catboy.
There's not a lot of players that like this dude because I think that he thinks he knows a lot of football. I think he's worse than his father. He really is. And this is the future that we're gonna have to, kind of look forward to.
We
So,
all have to pray that
buckle up, fellas.
we all have to pray that that Jerry gives the team to Charlotte.
Hey, if I didn't know the Joneses and you held up a picture of Steven and Jerry Jones and said these guys have been friends since high school, I would believe you. They look like they could be in the same age bracket.
That's my daddy. That's my daddy.
Oh, man.
Guys, okay, I need to ask you guys a serious question here, and you have to give me crack him if you got him.
Crack him if you got him.
And you have to give me a serious answer because a lot of fans at the start of the season, and not necessarily here in this roundtable or whatever the hell you want to call it, virtual content hangout, but I don't know.
Virtual JO.
Virtual JO. A lot of fans going into the season weren't confident that the Cowboys would do well. I think Vegas had the Cowboys at 9 wins.
Yeah.
I want to know from you guys, realistically, at this point going into the bye, because I know we all went through the Cowboys schedule and kind of did our own record breakdown. And I'm sure there's receipts of some of your guys' answers. But what did you guys think going into the bye the Cowboys' record would be? Real answers only.
I honestly thought the Cowboys would be 4-2. I thought they were. I had no idea that they would lose to the Saints. I thought they would handle the Saints and would have got us to the 4-2 mark going into the bye. That's what I thought.
So Big Chris leading out with 4-2. Who else? What else? Barry, I need to know, what did you have the Cowboys at? There's no way you had them anything higher than 3-3.
Yeah, I didn't, because I have them finishing 7-10 for the season. So they're right on brand for me.
Right on brand. See, I knew it. So, but did you have them around 500 at this point? Because you definitely had them losing. I would say you had them losing to the Ravens and the Lions 100%. And then you had them losing to another one of those other teams.
Yeah, I had them losing to the Saints. I had them losing to Baltimore. I had them losing to Pittsburgh, and I had them losing to Detroit.
Okay, so you
they
2-4.
actually beat Pittsburgh. So you know, it's kind of on brand.
Okay, so 2-4.
You could be argumentatively, you could be said that you are impressed so far.
I was a game off.
Hey, I was too.
So we got technically, Barry, you were 3 points off. 4 points.
Right.
So we got the big fella went 4-2. Barry, BGJ went 2-4. EJ and Boots. EJ, we'll start with you. What did you have?
Yeah, I had 4-2 as well. I thought we would beat Cleveland. I thought we would destroy the Saints, lose to Baltimore. The Giants are just they're our sons.
Yep.
And then Pittsburgh, I felt like we should beat them with their quarterback problems. So 4-2. I had the Lions already pinned as an L just because like this was a big game to them, and you saw it based on their play calling. They really wanted to lay it on you, and they really wanted to get an offensive line touchdown.
EJ, yeah, I was just gonna bring up that was it three plays in a row they had a offensive lineman like as an eligible receiver. They really wanted that to go in.
Something like that. But I did not see it as 47-9. I thought it was going to be a competitive game. But we were just going to fall short because Detroit is probably the Super Bowl favorite right now. I know some people want to say the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are, I think they're like a fake 5-0 team.
Yeah.
But that's beside the point.
Bot G, what did you have them at right now?
Yeah, I had them at 4-2 as well. It's funny because I went to that Green Bay playoff game. It was a January game, the playoffs. And it was so damn cold that this season, when I decided I was make the effort to go out to a home game, I told myself I'm gonna go to one of the first 3 home games because I want that nice weather. I don't want it to be freezing cold like it was last time, especially since I'm taking the wife and my kids this time. And so I looked at the first 3 home games: the Saints, the Ravens, and the Lions, and I thought to myself, which one of these are we most likely to win? And it was like, I looked at the Saints. I'm like, we have to win that game, and we're gonna boat race them. That's probably the most exciting, fun game to take the kids to. Ravens, that's a toss-up. Lions, I think they're probably due to beat us. So I had them at 4-2, and I think that was the biggest surprise that we lost to the Saints.
AJ, I can't even. We did our picks live. I want to say we were 4-2.
I think I believe by the bye we were 4-2, and Adam was 3-3.
Ad was Ad 3-3? Because Ad finished 12-5. We went 11-6.
Okay. Well, you know what? We have it written down somewhere, it's in our freaking stack of this notebook here, which I'm not going to go.
Something's telling me, too, though, that I don't think my bravado would have let me say we lost to both the Ravens and the Lions.
No.
But I think 4-2 at the bye was what we were thinking.
And regardless of how we came to the same conclusion, I also saw the Saints as a win. And that was that loss right there, like, beating the Giants by 5, I expected them to do better. Beating Cleveland, I actually thought Cleveland was going to be a better team this year, and they've turned out not to be a
probably the worst team in the NFL.
Arguably, yeah. It was the Saints' loss that kind of was. Was I surprised? No, because when the Cowboys start losing, they go into just like, okay, it looks like the team has a chance at a 40 burger for sure.
Yep.
And that's kind of the vibe that was in that game. But with Baltimore and Detroit, I could see them losing. I believed it. I thought Henry was who he is, back then, like before the season started. I was like, man, this guy's not washed up.
And we should have signed him.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Especially when you look at his contract. He has the home in Dallas. He's openly said, and this was after he signed with the Ravens, that he wanted to go to Dallas.
Well, he just said Dallas didn't even talk to me.
Didn't even talk. So it's like, anyway, let's
that's a full hour long.
We'll schedule another podcast tomorrow for that. But yeah, 4-2. So am I disappointed? it's not if they lost to Baltimore and Detroit the way they did, I'd be okay, because I'd be like, okay, I could spin the story in my head that the vengeful Lions were coming in to get the win. The Cowboys came out flat-footed and could never pick up their pace. It was the New Orleans loss that has kind of shaped my whole opinion on this season.
Well, I think the two most telling things are you have two blowouts, and that Ravens game could have easily been a blowout. They came back and made it
but
somehow respectable like the Cowboys always do.
It didn't feel like a 28-25
It did not feel like a 28-25 game, but you look at week 2, September 15th, and week 6, a 44-19 and a 47-9. That happening twice in 6 weeks.
At your house.
At your own,
Also,
in your house, that's awful.
Because I was at that Baltimore game. Our fans, man,
suck.
They just, there's no home field advantage. Like, I've been to Arrowhead plenty of times. That's an actual atmosphere that they don't like opposing fans coming in there. They're going to make you hear everything. They're going to get loud on third down. Everybody in that stadium standing up, cheering. It's just not the same.
We have the equivalent to that because we have the Seahawks stadium, and that's the most games I've ever been to. Our Seahawks games, I've been to nearly 10 of them, and when you're there, you're at a Seahawks game. So when I go down to Cowboys games, I'm always like, man, like they're out of the I think 5 or 6 games that we've been to, the only game that actually felt like a Cowboys home game was last Thanksgiving against the Washington Commanders. That was the only time I was like, holy fuck, people turned up and Cowboys fans are going nuts. But usually when you're at a Cowboys stadium or a Cowboys game, you can almost bet that the person besides you is going to be from the opposing team. You can flip a coin. You have that big of a chance that the person beside you is going to be an opposing fan. And it does kind of kill the atmosphere. But then when the team comes out and loses 44-19 in week 2 and then 47-9 in week 6, it's like, why would you go anyways? But I think the most telling game is going to be week 8 against the Niners. If they come out and they get absolutely...
They come out like they did against Detroit.
Done. I'm telling you, that's gonna. I still have hope. They need
a big game against the 49ers.
I'm optimistic. I'm always optimistic. They can lose. I'll even say they can go to 3-4. But if they go to 3-4 and they get beat by more than 30 points, that season's done. Season's done. It's gone with the wind.
I mean, and the Niners are facing, like, for all the crap I talk on the Chiefs sometimes, the Chiefs still have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They're going into that atmosphere, and they have I think they're only 3-3 right now. So they definitely need a win right there. If they don't get it against in Arrowhead, they're going to come and they're going to look at the Cowboys like, oh, we're back to stomp these guys out. So yeah, I hate that matchup. Hopefully this bye week serves the players well. They're actually grinding in the film room. They're willing to get mad. Jerry hopefully hired those crackheads or fans or whatever to mess with them a little bit. But
I can piss on some tires.
Well.
I'll piss on a door handle. $20. $20 a year. $20 a squirt.
Exactly.
That's cheap, guys. So okay, 3-3. That's what the Cowboys are right now. The trade deadline is looming. I think it's November 5th. That's what the date in my brain.
They pushed it forward another week this season from last season.
Yeah, so I think it's November 5th this year. November 5th.
A little bit more time.
A little bit more time. What do the Cowboys do? And I know I know Jerry's been on record saying he ain't doing shit. But again, it's our show, right? We can do whatever the hell we want. If you guys had to do something to make the Cowboys better, whether it be trading for someone or trading someone away, maybe you don't even try to get better this year. Maybe you try to trade someone away to get better for the future. I want to know what you guys would do right now to make this team in the present or the future better. And we'll start off. Who did we end with? I can't even remember. Whoever wants to start. Cowboys Chris.
Cowboys Chris.
Hop in there, big fella.
Do it.
Cowboys Chris was throwing that he was open.
Yeah.
He was running downfield throwing that he was open.
Lineman, ineligible receiver, Chris. Ineligible receiver. I need to see this.
Exactly. So man, you got to think about the bad teams in the league and cherry pick their good players. Call the Raiders and get their defensive end. Okay. Call the Jags and get a couple of their receivers. Okay. It's players out there, man. That's available. But you know, when your owner, Mr. All In, said that they're going to stand pat, man, it's not even. He doesn't even give Cowboy fans hope. Okay,
No.
we just want something to grasp at. Okay, because there are teams, man, that are willing to give away people. But you know, the Cowboys and Jerry, all of a sudden he's Mr. Cheapskate. But this is the guy that went out and got Charles Haley. This is the guy who went out and got Deion Sanders. This is the guy who was supposed to be the gunslinger and all that. And all of a sudden now he's just a cheap general store owner now. Remember? That's what he is.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He's gun shy. He's gun shy. And I think that goes back to what Barry said, that I don't think Jerry's actually in charge anymore. I think Steven has a little bit more sway with what they do in
He's worm tonguing Jerry. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Steven has a little bit more say. Sure, Jerry's still the figurehead and the guy that's in the media looking like an idiot trying to fire people on air. But I don't think it's Jerry Jones from 20 years ago, 30 years ago that's making the decisions anymore.
Real quick, Chris, just to follow up on that. So is it just like moving on from Jerry and he's just still wanting to clutch his that's the wrong analogy, but he's just wanting to still like clutch his position, but he obviously has trust with people within his organization, but he does want to be the one who says yes or no. That's how I take it.
Well, in that case, you know, it is what it is. If Steven's running it, if it's Will McClay, I don't give a damn who's running it or who's the figurehead, who's talking. Just do something, bro. I mean, you know your team has a deficiency. You know, your job is to fix it, even if it's not your job. If it's somebody else's job, fix it. At least show us, hey, we're trying to improve, man. We hadn't given up on the season after 6 games. We got 11 games to go. Got 11 games to go, man. And if you want to be the top tier teams in the league or show improvement, you got to go out there and do it. You know, as Cowboy fans, you know, we get the most heat because we're the most popular team. And we get this heat is because we're so popular, but our owner don't give a damn that we're popular. He just give a damn because he's making cash money because all the merch we buy and everything we do, you know.
Not another cent, Jerry. Not another cent. Sorry.
You know, and I know AJ and AJ said they weren't going to pay for another merch. You know, but I still don't think it's going to solve the problem. What's going to solve the problem is our front office, man, helping the team. Just help us, man. Help the fans. That's all I want you to do.
And guys, we are sellouts, and when someone gives us a super chat, we have to read the comment because we appreciate anyone coming by. Yeah, we'll get a crack them in here real quick. We appreciate anyone that's going to donate their hard-earned cash, even if they are Packer fans. And we got Pack
Attack. He's been joining us for since
a while.
Since Green Bay beat us in the playoffs.
All off season, he'll hop in, give us some super chats. But and we're gonna go through this real quick. It's Packers or Texans, but he wants to know, Can Fantomaniacs, what are your takes on the Pack versus Texans? And I'll lead out. I'm gonna say, just to fuck with Pack Attack, Texans are gonna beat the Packers. Anyone else? Any other takes? Anyone that has one, get in there and just hop in, say it.
I'll go the other way. I'll take the Pack Attack. I think Jordan Love's looking really good. And I just hate the Texans. I hate that they're saying they're the best team in Texas right now. That's probably the University of Texas, probably the best team in Texas.
Packers have Love back. I think, you know, he's a good quarterback. And, you know, I do want to see the Packers win so we get that revenge game.
Yeah, totally. We have to make the postseason, though. Who else? EJ.
Well, to me, the Texans is like the little brother who finally got him a piece, and he think he knows everything now. So congratulations, you got you a little bit, hey bro, but you still got a long way to go.
Hey, I am a younger brother, and I could attest to that. At one point in my life, I thought I could step to the big boys table, and I got punched in the face. So we'll just leave it at that. EJ, what do you think about the Packers versus Texans?
Yeah, I think that the Texans are a really good offense. Obviously, Nico Collins is going to be out. Tank Dell kind of got off a little bit. Stephon Diggs last week. Mixon looks really good. I think that the Packers have to keep up with the points here. Just don't let them jump out to a big lead on you, and just limit turnovers. I think that's the only thing that I kind of question with Jordan Love coming back from that injury. Is his accuracy is kind of weary a little bit. So just continue to use your weapons, Kraft, Reed, Dobbs, all of those guys, and get out of there with the victory. I don't really care. I don't really have a horse in the race, but if you're a Packers fan, hey, go Pack.
And then the biggest Mets fan on the show right now, Barry Grant. What do you think about these Pack versus Texans?
They're down 4-0 right now. I'm miserable, but it's nice to know that you have a team in Texas that spends for wide receivers, has a girth of running backs back there, and they have a quarterback that stays poised in the red zone. So I'll go ahead and pick the Texans to win this game, and fairly easy as well.
Oh, I like it. Hey, that was a very decisive answer.
Did Bot G get his in there too?
Yeah, Bot G thinks the University of
right.
Bot G thinks the University of Texas is the best team in Texas right now, and I don't disagree with them. They're the number 1 ranked college team in the college football landscape. So there you go, Pack Attack. We appreciate it. And back to our regular broadcasting. We were at what moves can the Cowboys make to get better? Cowboys Chris had his time to go, and we're going to go right into All Even Podcast. Barry Grant Jr., what do you think the Cowboys could do now or something to better them in the future to help this team?
Yeah, I think they gotta go find themselves a wide receiver. Get a guy like D-Hop, right? D-Hop is a veteran guy. He can be able to kind of get in there. He's a dog type of receiver. There's so many running backs out there that you can find.
Yeah.
They found Kareem Hunt off the street. And look what he's doing with the Treeps. Like, you can find talent out there. So just do something. Do something to be able to find a spark for this offense. Do something to be able to kickstart anything. Like, give your team the wherewithal, saying, "Oh man, at least they're trying something. Let's go ahead and go out there and make this happen." But to do nothing it can be positive or it can be really, really negative. So I'm thinking it's going to be really, really negative because they just don't have the dogs. Do something. Just do something. Anything. Cowboys fans will take anything at this point. Do something.
Literally. Anything.
You're true.
We have we have EJ Savage talking about paying crackheads to attack players' vehicles. Like, Cowboys fans want anything right now.
Yeah, make that your trade deadline headline. I mean, I'll take that.
I like that trade deadline headline. Okay, EJ Savage, what do you got for us? How are we making this team better right now or for the future?
Here's the thing. I think it's really dependent upon how competitive they are against the 49ers. If they're not competitive at all, I would be willing to part from players that we've known and loved. Zach Martin, Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, Brandon Cooks. All of those guys are on the block, especially when you have a guy like TJ Bass that can step in and play in place of Martin. Get your assets. If you are really that invested in the draft as a front office, get your assets so that you can really make an impact in the draft next year. But that's hinging upon what happens in the 49ers game. Like I said, if you're competitive and you feel like the offense is kind of hedging the bend, go sign a wide receiver. I think that's the biggest thing that you can do to open up some of those route concepts and quit the double teams always on CeeDee Lamb. You've got to figure out how to use your second best weapon in Jake Ferguson. He doesn't get off as much as he should. And then Turpin, he needs packages, like I said, but go make a trade for a wide receiver or pick somebody up off the street and make a play for a defensive tackle as well. And if you're going to make a play for a defensive tackle, I'm not talking about a journeyman guy. I'm talking about a legitimate dude that you're going to pay, but he's going to be one of the best in the league here on out. That's what I want to see from a bad team right now.
I feel like I just have PTSD from draft talk. We need a wide receiver 2 and a defensive tackle or a run. You know what I mean? Like, it's the shit that we talked about as fans and content creators 8 months ago for 4 months straight. And these seem to still be issues that would help the team right now. But it's just wild, and it just shows how mismanaged this team actually is.
It's been the same issues over and over year after year. The run, the defense can't stop the run. How many years has that been straight that we've said that year after year?
5 at least.
There isn't
At least.
anybody opposite of CeeDee Lamb since we've lost Cooper. Gallup's not good enough. Tolbert's not ready. Cooks has lost a step. It's the same topic of discussion year after year, and it needs to get solved. And if you're willing to move on from the players and trade some guys that you know and love, the guys that I mentioned, be willing to actually make the changes necessary. The stuff you have, the recipe you've cooked up as of late has not worked. Go with an innovative play caller, fire Mike McCarthy, go with somebody new. I don't care if it's a midseason firing of Mike McCarthy. Make John Fossil your interim head coach, and then go get Bobby Slowick or Ben Johnson, who just absolutely killed you in that last game, as your next head coach.
Totally. Good answers. But G, boots on the ground.
Boots on
Eric, what would you
First
do?
and foremost, you absolutely have to crack him if you got him.
Yes, get it in ya, son. Get it in ya, kid.
It's Wednesday night.
It's Wednesday night. What else are we going to be doing other than talking about Cowboys football and getting a couple cold ones in us?
Drowning our sorrows, right? Okay. I mean, I know this isn't going to happen, but I would completely forgive Jerry for all his, I guess, not doing anything. But if he were to convince Aaron Donald to come out of retirement and put on that helmet, I think it would instantly make us better. But realistically, if you were to trade for some meat and potato type of defensive tackles, Derek Brown from the Panthers, DeForest Buckner from the Colts, or even Jeffrey Simmons from the Titans, I think that's all we really need to free up our playmakers, to free up Micah Parsons and D-Law and let these guys make plays. Because, I mean, if we would address them in the offseason, we wouldn't have the problem. I mean, maybe they tried to do when they got that guy from the Buffalo Bills, Jordan Phillips. But what's he? He's supposedly hurt, and he's on the IR. And he's not really doing anything. So I think defensively, that's probably the way to do it. I do like what EJ mentioned about a coaching change, even if it is midseason. Like, if we lose in San Francisco, I want heads to roll. I would love to see Mike McCarthy out there. But I would give someone like an Al Harris interim head coach, just because I think the Bears respect him and they played really, really hard for him. And then if you're going to trade for someone offensively, I mean, get rid of Zeke. Get rid of, if Dalvin Cook ain't going to play, then get rid of him too. Get rid of Deuce. Get rid of Trey Lance. Trade everybody and go get yourself like an ETN from the Jaguars. I mean, I know he pulled a hamstring, but I mean, he'll be back, and I think he's better than anything else that we have on our offensive line. And we need that attitude change. So if there's any dogs on our offensive line left, anybody that what I consider a gangster going out there, I think Ferguson's got some dog in him, and we just got to get him involved. I've seen him get so hyped. He kind of gave me like Gronkowski vibes. He gave me Travis Kelce vibes when he just puts the game on his shoulders. And I think Ferguson can be our guy.
Totally. AJ, it's funny because we talked a little bit. And BW1 in our DMs, and we talked a little bit about who we could trade for players wise, like what players we could go out and get, what players we could give up. But to me, giving up players, and you guys all mentioned this, all hinges on how the Cowboys play Week 8 against the San Francisco 49ers. I mentioned it earlier. If they come out and are flat and get smoked, I'm ready to blow this team up. I really am. I was ready to blow the team up after Packers. It's documented. We were all ready to fire everybody, get rid of Dak. It's done. The situation's done. Whatever you guys have tried for the last 4 years didn't work. It's over. Restart. And I feel like they just the ownership was too bitch made to do that. Like, I don't know what it was. They were just too scared for change or something, because that out after the Packers game would have been the perfect time to just cut ties with it. You could have done anything as the front office. And you know what the front office did? They did fuck all. And the only change that there was is Dan Quinn left and took all the players because someone hired him as the head coach.
Yep.
That was it. The Cowboys were ready to go back into this season with Dan Quinn, with Mike McCarthy, with Dak Prescott, with CeeDee Lamb, with all the same guys. They were ready to just roll the dice with the same team after getting embarrassed in a playoff game against playoffs against the 7th seed, against the youngest team ever in playoff history. So I don't know if they're going to make any moves, but I want to wait until after this Week 8 game. And if they lose, and if they lose like to the tune of 40 or I'm going to say by more than 30 points, I'm honestly done. I'm a very optimistic fan, but I'm done.
I think points aside, it's more about how the Cowboys play. Like, right? Like,
totally. Like if they're competitive, because I also think another thing the Cowboys have missed out in the last few years when they were 12-5, they haven't had adversity. They haven't been tested. They haven't been 3-4 at any point in the season. They haven't had losing records. They've kind of just glided and beat teams and made it to the postseason and then got smoked.
Beat teams they should beat,
and
lost,
then lose to the good teams
who we thought they would lose to. And
so if they have a good game against the Niners and can play competitively, hopefully win, I'm still okay with it. You keep everyone intact. You lose, I'm done. I blow it up. Fire Mike McCarthy right there.
Yeah, and we've seen Mike McCarthy lose twice to the Packers in his tenure with the Cowboys now. And you never want to, if you break up with a chick, you never want to be caught with a chick that's uglier than her. You know what I mean? So you roll back around and you get beat twice by the Packers again.
Yep.
And sure, you got more money. You're making more money. You're 12-5, 3 straight seasons. You're making more money, but your chick's still uglier.
Yeah.
Get the
and
you
she
gotta
knows
beat
it.
your old
She knows
team
it. She
at
knows
the
it.
very least.
She's like, yeah, but you did good.
Yeah.
You did good.
Look. I'll agree with EJ.
Never go from a hot chick to an ugly chick. That's 101.
I think you make the decision, and this kind of will lead into our next question here. Our
final
question of the night. We appreciate all you guys for hanging on
love all
here.
you guys.
Love you all. This has been awesome. A great conversation. I just hate that we're on this fake time limit that we set for ourselves. But hey,
we're on a fake time limit,
good.
and we're all like depressed a little bit.
We're all a little depressed. But making a trade, and if you believe that you are a playoff-worthy team, playoffs, you don't make the Zach Martin trade. Now, I'm not saying that that's even a potential. Maybe there's a contract issue, or maybe teams just aren't looking for him.
Who's gonna want him after he had a zero graded PFF game? Did you guys?
Well, hopefully not.
Hopefully it's just injury. Hopefully it's just injury.
But regardless, I'm just saying a player of that caliber where you can go out and get some draft capital, because if you are, and all signs honestly kind of point to this scenario where the Cowboys are looking at 2025 or 2026. And I say that only because Jerry keeps talking about not having enough money. They signed pillar players, which is really great, but they let a bunch of secondary players walk mostly to the Commanders, and you see how the Commander season is going. We lost a lot of that depth. So I'm just saying, if that's the way that the organization is already faced, and the Jones family is saying this is whatever happens in 2024 happens, but we're really focused on building this team in the future in the next 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it may be, then commit to that. Let's trade our assets now that teams still perceive as value, to get more picks or to get a player who is going to help in the future. Now, I'm not saying this is what I want, but if the organization is already focused in that point, then go all in, Jerry. Go all in, Steven. Go all in that direction.
You're PTSD-ing with that term.
I can eat this season if I know we've got a couple hot picks in the 2025 draft that are, say, 4th round and up. I would like 3rd round and up too for a Zach Martin, but just that's where my mindset is. However, if the Cowboys think that they can go out and win, you shouldn't make those moves, but you definitely have to find ways to improve within the ingredients that you have right now. And are you going to be able to do that? I don't know. That's up to you. Cowboys Chris just said, I don't like what Alex is saying.
Cowboys, there
I'm fucking out. I'm done with him. He's done. I'm cutting him off.
Now, remember I told you I'm still in the hotel room, and my wife was asking me a question, and I was like, honey, I'm on the podcast.
Oh, okay. Hey.
You're like, honey, ixnay, the question.
But you know what? This is perfect.
I'll be right back, fellas. Keep talking. I'll be back.
No problem, Barry.
Yeah,
no
Barry,
problem.
you go do what you got to do, buddy.
But all that ranting done, no one gets to say anything about what I just said because we're moving on to the next question, and I don't want to be. I'm Jerry Jonesing it right now. Okay.
You can't fire me. You can't fire me.
Eric, I want to
quit.
Eric or Anth? I'm throwing to either one of you.
Not the last question. You're going to lead out with me?
Well,
that you're not. Could be a very loaded question,
okay.
Especially right now.
Okay. We'll go to Eric.
I don't want to be I don't want to start off. I'll be too emotional.
Anth knows the question, but Eric,
I know the question.
I know you can handle this, Eric. I trust your broad shoulders. I felt them. I felt them without a shirt on, and I know that and Cowboys Chris knows. Okay, Cowboys Chris knows.
You were on mushrooms.
But here's the hard question, guys. Are the Cowboys a playoff team? This year, entirely, not necessarily right now, encompassing the entire 2024 to 2025
I guess you could also kind of shift the question. Will the Cowboys make the playoffs this year?
Will the Cowboys make the playoffs? Do you feel they're a playoff team?
Listen, the Cowboys win in San Francisco next Sunday. We're going to be walking out of there screaming Super Bowl. Super Bowl.
Super, you know? Yes, 100%.
But despite that, we are a playoff team, but not because of our personnel, not because of the players, but because I think the NFC East is so weak that, it'll be for sure the Commanders. And if we get in there, it's, we're going to get in there with like a 9-7 or 10-6 record maybe. Or it might even be like a 500 or barely above 500, but it's not going to be because we're that good. It's because everybody else is that bad.
Okay. I like that perspective.
That's fair.
You're just kind of like, you just got forced in. You're forced in. It's like everyone else lost more than you.
Yeah. Well, I guess you get the golden ticket.
Yeah, here you go. I guess you're in playoffs now. Playoffs.
We'll take it.
My thing is, it's incredibly hinged upon what this front office is willing to do. Right now, you have to be willing to, regardless of what you tell the media, Jerry Jones, about you're not going to make a coaching change or whatever, you have to be willing to put pressure on Mike McCarthy to switch some stuff up, because whatever he's doing right now is not working offensively. Brian Schottenheimer, as the offensive coordinator that comes up with the plays and stuff like that, you've got to get some more creativity and then be willing to be like, hey, Mike, I came up with this new thing that I think that we should use during this time in the next game. And you've heard about this hive mind kind of thought process between Dak, Brian Schottenheimer, and Mike McCarthy. It seems like they're on completely different wavelengths right now. I don't understand what the hell is happening with that. Figure that out. That's going to help your offense, and you should have the reinforcements coming back for the defense where that should get better. I really think you have a good schedule coming up here. Obviously, you play the Texans, you play the Niners, the Eagles that have looked shaky as well. I think you have the chance to come out as a playoff team, but it's incredibly hinged upon what you do after the bye week. If it's reminiscent of what you did last year's off the bye, absolutely you're a playoff team.
Right.
If it's the continuation of the same old 90s offense, that archaic style offense, no. There's no way your offense can make up for the deficiencies on the defensive side, especially in the Mike Zimmer system that has so many different installments, and players were raving about it. Remember, Diggs and Micah were talking about it after the Cleveland game about how many packages they have. Dude, just get the basic 3 under your belt.
Totally.
And maybe we can stop an opposing run game, or maybe we can stop them from putting 40 on your head at your house.
Yep.
Then we can talk about the playoffs.
Playoffs. Yeah, no doubt. Cowboys Chris.
Are the Dallas Cowboys a playoff team this year, and will they make the playoffs? Or will they make the playoffs?
Playoffs.
Glasses off, baby.
Oh,
Glasses
shit.
off.
That's what it's... Chris, I feel how Chris feels. That's why I didn't want to lead out, because I don't know the answer.
What's that saxophone song?
I thought you were playing a sound bite for a second. I didn't know you were
We're stopping.
I didn't know you were saxophone Jay.
I didn't know. I thought Chris was getting sexy with us, so I just wanted to.
Man, Jay.
My answer is real simple. At this point, no. But the Cowboys go as far as Dak Prescott could take them until the offense gets rolling, because apparently we can't count on our defense. We never know which defense is going to show up. Right now, no. That's just a simple answer, and no need to elaborate because we've seen it.
Yep.
So right now, no.
You're as good as your record, and you're as good as the tape you've put out. And in those 6 weeks, they've have 2 ass kickings.
Yeah.
So I like that answer. Barry, the question was and is, are the Cowboys a good enough team to make the playoffs this season?
Playoffs. And Barry, don't bring the Mets into this, please. Don't bring the Mets.
We got to load. We have a very hinged Barry Grant Jr. with the Mets getting beat right now, but we're your medium. We're your medium.
I laughed because that was a funny joke. This team is not a playoff team. There's nothing about this team that screams playoffs. It's just no. I had them going 7-10. If they go any further than that, I would be impressed. If they go 8-9, I'd be impressed. If they go 9-8, I'd be impressed. If they find a way to win 10 games, I would be super impressed. So I think that this team is dead in the water. The parts just don't work. The pieces don't work. These guys are very, very me. And there's something that needs to be shaken up in this offseason, whether it be, deep dive and go get a Bill Belichick or go get a Ben Johnson, go get somebody that can be able to kind of have a new structure in here that's going to be able to get these guys and get some other guys in here that are more team friendly, some dogs, some guys that actually want to play and want to be here and want to contribute the right way. I would rather them go 7-10 so we can go get a high draft pick and maybe get a dog in a draft.
Get something 15th pick and higher or something like that.
Yeah.
AJ, do you got an answer? We'll do ours quick.
Yeah. For me, at this moment, I like waiting to the 49ers game, but we can't do that.
Can't
I
do it.
I gotta give an answer
now.
I'm gonna have to say right now, no.
Yeah.
Prove to me next week. No, sorry, not this week. Week 8. Prove to me.
Yeah, we're already losing the bye week. Don't wait for the bye week to advance. We need to see games.
The bye week was lost when Jerry did his fucking
I'll fire
105
you.
interview.
I'll fire you.
I'm just saying, my confidence is low. But I just want to see something from the team. And if it happens against the 49ers, because they could still lose, and that could still change my position. It depends on how they play against the 49ers. Right now, I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are a playoff team.
I like Botg's answer that the NFC East is so bad, but the only thing that prevents me from that kind of counters that is the NFC North is so good this year. Like the NFC North might have 3 teams that go to the postseason this year. And if that happens, well, the Cowboys are more than likely
4 wins or more.
Yeah, they're all at 4+ wins, right? So for the NFC North to be so good and the NFC East to be just kind of mediocre, the Cowboys, I think, have to win right now. If it stays how it is, the Cowboys are going to have to win the division to make the postseason. And I don't know right now if they're good enough. Yeah. And we're talking about right now today, without knowing what happens in the San Francisco 49ers game. And I don't think good teams or playoffs get smoked twice in 6 weeks.
No.
I could deal with one blowout win in 6 weeks. The 2 has me kind of nervous.
Yeah, and Ohtani with the 3-run home run. Go Dodgers.
Sorry, EJ, you had some Cowboys topic I think you wanted to say.
Yeah, my thing is it's all hinging upon how good the Commanders actually are because they've faced some terrible teams.
True.
Let's not act like they're some world beaters as well. The Eagles, I really don't think that
I don't think they're good.
They're good. I think they're in the same boat as the Cowboys. They're at a crossroads. They have to figure some stuff out defensively and offensively. They haven't looked good. Too many turnovers, too many penalties. They've also had some guys missing. So there's on the offensive side. So there's a little bit of leeway there. But right now, I don't think that the Commanders are running away with this division. So if there's any avenue, like you mentioned, And I think that it is winning the division, and that starts with beating the Commanders not once but twice.
Twice.
And
Got to take both.
Sweeping the Eagles as well.
Beat the Eagles, beat the Eagles twice, beat the Commanders twice, and then beat the Giants again. Guys, we appreciated having all of you guys on. This is kind of the first time we've done this kind of roundtable, whatever the hell you want to call it, but had a bunch more than one guest on.
It went off well.
It was great, man. I had a great time. I love talking to all of you guys individually and as a group. So it was really good, really kosher.
Big shout out here to Big Chris, our boy at the at Cowboys Up podcast. EJ Savin at Boys in the Zone. Barry Grant Jr., the villain himself at All Even Podcast. And our homie at BotG_Eric, or just call him BotG Eric.
We will be live streaming the San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday this week. And I'm just going to lead out because we play the San Francisco 49ers next, and we're going to live stream them next. If you know a San Francisco 49ers fan out there, I got something you can go tell them. You can go tell them to go, fuck themselves!
EJ, don't say that. EJ Savin!
Woo! Let's
go! There is a flag. Could be
That's
on.
fine. That's fine.
Just now hit the end.
Yeah, Toby! Toby!